الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين صلى الله عليه وسلم. In the beginning, I am obliged to expand, or rather to express my profound gratitude to the administration of the school in the person of Mr. Draman for renewing their confidence in me by inviting me to come and share my thoughts with our daughters and sons. And I'm extending a special greetings to all the audience before me here. I mean the students, both men and women, or girls and boys in this hall. I think without wasting much time, after observing or after taking into considerations all the protocols, I mean all the systems that we use if we want to open a lecture or a speech concerning anything. But today is a very important day. It's important in the sense that it is happening in an institution which represents one of the most important educational institutions in the Gambia. Number two, I'm just looking at a whole human pool of generations. You cannot imagine for so many people, young boys and girls, to be a member of an ummah, and that ummah should fail in carrying the mission that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked them to carry. That is the mission of giving Islam to people, being ambassadors of Islam, and being the true representatives of Islam. For that matter, because of the pressure of time, which is very little when compared to the subject or the topic I'm asked to dilate or to discuss with you, which is the importance of Ramadan. Well, the deputy principal, I must announce it before you, I've taken that decision never to be using English language as a medium when I'm delivering anything to Gambians anymore. But anyway, today is an exception. I was in Sifo yesterday, and they were just desirous for me to speak in English, but I feel their expectations. Instead, I use Mandinka as a medium, because personally I've come to realize that if we are not using the mother tongue to speak to the young generation, whatever we are saying, no matter how moderate or how primary the language is, they will never be able to understand or to digest what we want to transmit to their minds. So for that matter, I'll be mixing English and all of Mandinka sometimes. The importance of Ramadan, but before we go into the importance of Ramadan, what is Ramadan? I think Ramadan literally, it means abstention from food, drink, and intimate intercourse. But anybody who takes Ramadan, the meaning of Ramadan, to be limited to this literal meaning, you're making a mistake. Otherwise, you sleep at night. When you are sleeping, you are not eating. We are not speaking. And you are not drinking as well. Then you are in Ramadan. So the word Saum, fasting, is what we are trying to talk about. Because Ramadan is the name of the month, But we're not talking about the month. When we say the importance of Ramadan, we must be very careful. I don't know who actually selected the topic, but by saying the importance of Ramadan is different from saying the importance of fasting. What do you want to put across? Is it the importance of fasting or the importance of the month of Ramadan? What do you want to put across? Fasting. Okay, not both. It can only be one. Because it's an activity, and that activity is done in time and in space. The space is Gambia, but the time is Ramadan, because a month is called Ramadan. I didn't get the point? So you should be very careful anytime you want to just put something down on paper. Otherwise, you create confusion in your own mind. This is very important. And even if my lecture stopped here, it's okay for you. So this is one of the reasons why we are still deficient. We are not understanding certain terminologies properly because we use the wrong word for a wrong meaning. So when we say the importance of Ramadan, it is either the importance of the month of Ramadan, but not even the month, but what actually happens in the month of Ramadan. That is fasting. Is it clear? Do you agree with me? Okay. We know that the month of Ramadan is the month of the Quran. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم. And if the Quran has given you the correct definition, what it means, the month of Ramadan. It is the month in which part of which the Quran was revealed. And that Quran, it is a big guidance, or it is a big guide. It guides. The Quran is a guide. It guides everybody. Look, listen to this verse. Listen to this verse. Hudan linnas. The Quran guides everybody. The whole human race are equal in the guidance of the Holy Quran. You, the Muslims, or you, the people who have actually subscribed, to accepting the Quran as the letter of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the humanity, you are the very people who have the responsibility of taking this deen to the people who are not well informed of it. Well, let's come to the importance of fasting or Ramadan. So the importance of Ramadan is, it is the month in which the Quran was revealed, isn't it? So this actually answers all the questions concerning the importance of the month of Ramadan. But what is the importance of fasting that you do in Ramadan? And Ramadan, it is the 9th month of the lunar calendar, that's the Islamic calendar, isn't it? Then the importance of Ramadan is, it is the month in which the Quran was revealed, part of it. But what happens in Ramadan and what is approaching, we are anticipating or expecting, is what is called the ritual or the devotion of fasting. I think this is what you want to know. And this is the importance that you want me to share with you. Number one, before Ramadan, every Muslim should make sure that Ramadan is an act of worship which has been prescribed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2 of the Holy Quran, verse 183 to verse 186, the entire scope of Ramadan is spelled out very simply and clearly for you in the Holy Quran. Are you with me? يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. If all the genius, if all the professors and the PhD holders, name it, even to the grade 9 certificate holders, if all of them should combine their intellect, to challenge only this verse, they would not be able to do anything in their confrontation or in their approach to this verse. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Listen to this very careful. Subhanahu wa ta'ala is through Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is using a very powerful article in English language. It's called the vocative. The vocative article, if you want to call somebody who is a distance from you, you either say hey or you say you by shouting, raising your voice, isn't it? It's the same thing applies to ya in Arabic. It is either calling somebody who is near to you, but the person is distracted, which means his mind is on your call. Or the person is at a distance, you want to engage his attention. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this verse is telling you, the Gambian youth today, Ya ayyuhalladina, because ha is an article that engages your attention. Alladina is a relative pronoun, because anything after a relative pronoun in grammar, you are included in that alladina amanu, those who believed. Are you with me? Are you understanding what I'm saying? Yes. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling you today as a Gambian Muslim youth, that I am inviting you to a club, to a group, and that group is defined as Alladina Amanu, those who believe. Are you believers? If you are believers, then listen to what Allah is going to tell you, for you to understand the importance of Ramadan, or what happened in Ramadan as an act of devotion, which is called fasting. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyamu. Fasting is prescribed or is written. It will never be removed anymore. It is written. When the Quran says something is written on you, every time in the Holy Quran you read either by translation, English language, or by the original letters of the Holy Quran, and something is written kutiba, you should know that that thing is extremely difficult when it comes into normal circumstances. Because when Allah created Adam alayhi salam, after giving Adam the power to know, that is knowledge, and asking the angels to prostrate out of respect and in execution of the command of Allah, what was the third thing that Allah has given to Adam? That is Adam to go and eat. Because we are biological beings, isn't it? And we eat out of that food. We have the proteins, we have the vitamins, the carbohydrates, and the fats. And these are the elements that combine to build our body, either the immunity system or to help us to grow our body. Isn't it? So originally the first man was asked to eat, even before asking not to do or to do. So this is why anywhere in the Holy Quran, when something is prescribed, when Allah asks you to do something which is very difficult and which is opposite to your nature, Allah would say kataba wala kutiba. Before even this verse, in the same chapter, Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah says, kutiba alaykumul qisas. If somebody wrong you, let's say kill, make Allah forbid, when somebody kills somebody, well, when he did the killing intentionally, and all the circumstances and the evidence pointed to the fact that he did it deliberately, he would be killed, isn't it? This is called al-qasas, to repay what the person has done. Because it's very difficult to do that. That's why the Quran says kutiba. And when you have property and wealth, and you know that you are sick, even sick people don't want to be deprived of their money. A sick person in the bed will never like his property to be shared, even if he is very sick. So that's why the Quran says, kutiba alaykum idha hadara ahadakumul maut. When a person is in a deathbed, the Quran says, if that person has property, that property should be bequeathed, that is given to either the parents or to the close relatives. And even to go to war, jihad, the Quran says, kutiba alaykumul qital. Nobody wants a war. Nobody wants to go and fight because you're expected to die. This is why whatever is difficult, the Quran will tell you kutiba. Isn't it? Is it clear now? So this is called fasting. Fasting simply means for you to abstain consciously, mindfully, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked you not to eat, because Allah is testing your humanity. Allah is testing your belief. Allah is testing how much you have accepted and believed in His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You get the point? Kutiba alaykumus siyam kama kutiba alal ladhina min qablikum. The first important thing of fasting is, in this verse, Allah has connected you today, the Gambian Muslim youth. Allah has connected you to the good people and the righteous people of yesterday. Kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum. You are connected, if at all. You are conscious, you are righteous, and you are going to keep fast according to what Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has asked you to do, the performance and the method and the way and the time. You are connected to the good people of yesterday. This is the first importance. For you to be conscious that you are part of a universal brotherhood. That is innamal mu'minuna ikhwa. Secondly, you should know that you are connected historically. Your name is written in the past books of the good people. If at all you are among the ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. So here is an opportunity for each and everybody to renew his faith and iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But one very important thing that is observed in our Islamic presentations in the Gambia. Gambians are very good speakers. Gambians are very good imitators of other people. Gambians are very intelligent when it comes to speaking other people's language. But when it comes to really translating the concept and the idea, you find everything is poor. That's not Islam. Islam has to change you. Islam has to make you into a true human being, into a very practical, constructive Muslim, into somebody whose life is based on modesty and honesty, into somebody who is constantly conscious of the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Somebody who is always devoted and loyal to follow the teachings and the principles practically, not to be doing it verbally, but practically. He or she is an ambassador. وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ وَيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ عَلَيْكُمْ شَهِيدًا. Who among us is an ambassador, an Islamic ambassador here? Raise your hand if I told you are an Islamic ambassador. Who among you? Raise your hand if I told you are an Islamic ambassador. We don't have any ambassador here. No diplomatic passport will be given to you as an Islamic ambassador. This is a problem. We need to be good ambassadors of Islam, not political appointees to be ambassadors of countries and nations, but ambassadors of Islam. That can only be done. It can only be done if we behave Islamically, if our conduct is Islamic, if our way of speaking is Islamic, if our way of thinking is Islamic. We don't do things for people's sake, and we don't do things deceptively to deceive ourselves. When we are alone, we are a wolf, but when we are in the public, we are a good person. We don't do that. So what is the importance of fasting? What is the importance of fasting? In fact, time will be against me, otherwise I would give you 12 points. That is too many. You cannot just take all that. I'll give you 12 points, indicating the importance of Ramadan. And if you fail in each of these points, then it's better not to go for Ramadan, but go for another thing. And you see, what interesting thing in the Gambia is, it's not interesting because it is very strange. Before Ramadan comes, everybody is preparing to welcome Ramadan. And all of us in the Gambia, we know that we have a lot of problems with our attitudes, with our behaviors, with the way we think, and the way we even perceive our brothers and sisters. But yet, with that negative attitude, we will go into Ramadan and we will never change. And when Ramadan comes to an end, we will continue doing the same negative attitudes. That is not the Ramadan that Muhammad sallallahu through Muhammad Allah has prescribed us to do. The first importance of Ramadan is Ramadan teaches you to love your Creator, that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first importance of Ramadan is you love who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is why we must stop here and try to explain a very interesting point here. In our human relationship, we say, I love you, you love me. It's better we say, I like you and you like me. You know, we love Allah alone. This Quran says, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. Those who are true believers are the true lovers of Allah. When you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is what fasting teaches you. Because we are created to eat, isn't it? But Allah says, no, don't eat this month. Leave eating and do it for my sake. And you do it, then you love Allah. Then if you are able to control yourself and fast properly for the sake of Allah, then you love Allah. And when you love Allah, Allah will love you. And when Allah loves you, you are always the victorious one. You are always the first. But are we always the first or always the last? The Fogajai mentality is ours. Backwardness is ours. Poverty is ours. So we have a problem somewhere with this good religion called Islam and with this very good institution called fasting, Ramadan, but yet we cannot change. We are backbiting each other. We are stealing each other. We are destroying each other's characters. And we are doing what is not allowed to be done in Islam. And yet we are saying that we are expecting Ramadan. And how many Ramadans have we been fasting? And still now, none of those Ramadans have changed us. Because Ramadan has to change you. This is why everything in life has a season. Everything in life has a time of beginning, has a time of end. You are in the school, isn't it? I think you said the school year begins at this date, but it ends at this date. And the school, when you reach grade 12, I don't think you continue, you go out, isn't it? Everything in life has a limit. Inna kulla shay'in khalaqnahu biqadar. Allah says everything is created in quantity. I mean, by extension with quality. Then the month of the year is how many months? 12. Then one is out, and even Ramadan, Allah has counted the days for you. Ayyaman ma'dudat, 29 or 30 days. So Ramadan, the importance is Ramadan renews your love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the second important, thing about Ramadan is Ramadan gives you that power. Ramadan gives you that power called a very creative sense of hope. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked you to keep fast, and you hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept your fasting, then you are a hopeful person. This is why any Muslim who knows the meaning of fasting and does fasting according to the prescriptions or the teachings of Muhammad, you will always be a hopeful person in your life, and you will never lose hope in your life. And fasting will give you a very optimistic, a very positive outlook of life. When you are fasting, fasting is not about eating or drinking or doing something that you think that, let's say, causing some pain to come onto you. No. Fasting is something to liberate your mind. It liberates your mind, your spirit, and your body. Your mind becomes very light, and your body becomes very light, soft, and your soul becomes very clear. You are connected to your Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then we say the second important thing about fasting is fasting gives you that creative sense of hope. You are always hopeful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless you, will reward you, and will give you whatever you want. And number 3, fasting is something that gives you willpower. This is why it's very important to understand this point. Before Ramadan, all of us, everybody in life, there is a point or there is something about you which is very bad. And you yourself, you know that it is bad. Some people are smokers, some people will take ganja, and some people are stealers, petty stealers, and some people are backbiters, and some people are rumor monger spreaders, as it is in the TikTok and the WhatsApp groups. Isn't it? All this is evil. This is evil in Islam, and even in our culture is evil. Isn't it? But if at all you know the importance and the meaning of fasting, when this Ramadan comes, I'm appealing to all of you, never go to TikTok and do something that is against Islam and your good culture. Never backbite anybody in your life. Never destroy the personality of your brother or sister. And never go stealing, and never smoke, and never take ganja. This is what Ramadan does. This is the importance of Ramadan. Ramadan is a healing. As if you are sick, you go to a doctor, you are given quantum against malaria. Ramadan is a quantum against evil and deviation. This is why the Quran says, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you can prevent yourself against all evils and become a human. You help me with time, huh? Okay. So this is the problem. We should understand that. But Ramadan gives you willpower. You know how? Because let me give you a very good example. You are fasting, and no policeman or no CCTV camera is monitoring your fasting, isn't it? Because you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you have hope in Allah, and you are very positive with Allah, then you have the willpower. Nobody will be able to deceive you, because you can be alone anywhere. You can eat, clean your mouth, and say, I'm still fasting. But because you are conscious that Allah is there, that's why you maintain your fast even if you have the chance to eat, and you are seeing food and everything around. So this is called willpower. And fasting, another importance of fasting is it gives you the power of adaptability. The power of adaptability, which is very, very much needed in the Gambia. 11 months you are eating. Normally, from morning to night. 11 months. And 1 month, Allah says, look, for the day don't eat, but for the night you are free to do everything. Very strange. And what is very interesting here, the word saum, fasting, is mentioned in the Holy Quran 11 times. And in 11 months you eat, but only 1 month you don't eat. And a calendar is how many months? Is it not 12? 11 plus the one in which you fast. When you put it to 11, 1 plus 11 gives you 12, isn't it? So another very important thing is Ramadan, which gives you the power to be adaptable, because you are eating normally and regularly for 11 months. And one day the moon is sighted, the next day you change your entire system. Instead of taking breakfast, you stop taking breakfast. What does that mean to you? It means if we are willing, if we are conscious of Allah, and if we are following the commandments of Allah, our power, our willpower is able to conquer anything. All habits, we can change them if we want. But the problem is wanting to say something, is wanting to listen to that thing, and is wanting to do according to that thing. And our problem, the new generation in the Gambia, is most of them have ears as an organ, but they cannot understand what the ear is transmitting to the brain. Don't do it. Don't be like an animal, as the Quran has just drawn a simile for you in Surah Al-An'am. When the Quran says, لَقَدْ ذَرَأَنَا لِجَهَنَّمَ كَثِيرًا مِنَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا. They have their minds and intellect, but they will never use it to comprehend, to understand the truth. وَلَهُمْ أَعْيُنٌ لَا يَبْصِرُونَ بِهَا. And they have eyes, but they will never see the truth with it. وَلَهُمْ آذَانٌ لَا يَسْمَعُونَ بِهَا. They have ears, but they will never hear with it as an organ. You hear every sound, but it is the inability of transmitting that sound to the center of the brain that is responsible to distinguish between the sound and the other sound. We don't do that in the garden. You know, we've been talking now for so long, for too long, for too many. Is it not time to see changes in our generations? I think it is time, isn't it? So when we say something, it is not a matter of saying, hey, al-angale kamo kuliyata, al-angale kamo diata, al-angale kamo nyinyata. That is just irrational. It has no sense. What is important is for you to understand and for you to accept the truth of what we are saying. Apply it in your life, and it will be a change maker. It will make you into a new man and into a new woman. Isn't it? So Ramadan gives you that willpower. And the other thing is Ramadan gives you patience. Patience, sabaro. Yeah, it's the Gambia. When the monkeys are dancing, the lizards will come. No problem. It's always like this in the Gambia. Nothing goes straight. Anyway, so patience is very important. Hope. Some people are here who don't understand English. Do we have in our midst people who don't understand English? Huh? Why didn't you tell me? Ululal bijawal ma angale kamwe nin kama mi yalon bayen to be fale dak berin dindim ba karan kam fon ko ko itam man na faso doje berin dindim ba diamu kam man na faso doje no mon tabula la sayam bam ha so be yam fo ni la ululal bulu min ma angale kamwe ya fele itol kamwe atol bu kamwe bari be diamu gal sunkaro la na fale la ala na fa folo momenti ake kala mu ake la findi ala ye ala kanu kaduni ala kanu ala ke kanu le kadu kala ya marole fulan jaw mominati akati nale ye ko yele mandino sabanyaw aka sabaro le dila nanin jaw jika kotol min bele mambeti ani sunkaro na de ka falin kamunta ko ila balwo nyanta falin ni sunkaro nata bari badu koto min be modula ni sunkaro nata ka continue wa balu koto la mambeta ya sunkaro nata to be a transformative process anyante yele mandino le. And the fourth, in fact, I cannot give you all the 12. I'll give you just maybe 6. And the fourth or the fifth one is, Sunkaro has to economize your resources. Sunkaro na ta prukanna kodol topatole. Economy. Do you have, I think you have commerce in the school? Commerce and economics. But the kalkaran di tubabu economy la and tubabu commerce, because bidikital bule kalkaran di commerce la. That doesn't make any sense. You are just giving theory. Need of time where commerce karan bidiko ele school to jang. E bidiko ele school to alka practical ke bidiko. I think my prophet, that's the best way. Nin karang din theoretical karang wa jolu fale taka kanyan tele sai. E bidiko ele jang wala supermarket wal alka din wal trade ke vir wala ji. That's the best way to learn commerce. Do you get my point? Anybody with that common subject, they can be do the practicals there, not theoretical in the classroom. When you pass, you fail, and when you fail, you pass. You get my point? So this is it. But unfortunately, and which is very a laughing stock matter in the Gambia, Hani minimum fence to the Sungaro Kono, they pretend that they have something. Hani Kono te minibulu. Because Amanna or Kamala, Anatala Kela, meager resources will economize. It is a simple home economics. Nikadal Sikabedama before Sungaro, if $25 is okay. It is not the amount of food or the variety that you eat. It is the God consciousness, a taqwa. Not the food. Ulatina fuarol fanan kakate fanan, they want to live to standard. Hani bita kodo don to danko CCA dom. And it is the rich people who are responsible in the month of Ramadan to provide quality food to the poor people. Parikata marsi to ye fuarol nim banal tare be nyon sabola. Ni ko fuaro e ko CCA mubina the frozen chicken e ka 225 maka kumbole. Naya wa ata hani felso to la kote. So Ramadan comes to economize your resources. Min tutaje the extra or the excess ake sadati. Share your bounty with your fellow man. Share Allah's bounties with Allah's creature. Lakin Allah koy ko liman ya fa musubi ma wa ata al mala dhal qurba wa ata al mala dhal wa ata al mala wa ita al mal wa ata al mala dhal qurba wal yatama wal masakin wa ibn as-sabil wa sa'ilin wa fi ar-riqab. So sunkaro nata pour que la economic grow, because it enhances your sense of belongingness. You belong to a community, a society. Momo mimbe bulu aini badonga ya tala sunkaro kono. Iba nafala abe nafala. So nimu sunkaro la nafado fanat. But sunkaro la nafa ba fa mo minati. Wolom follow salon ko ala le bulala. Bri ala ye bulala aya kamina kamma nyin kammala ise fango control no. Yaja hadama de mo fango men babulu. What you have at hand or under your care, and you are able to use it, but because you are conscious that Allah has asked you to keep fast and you refuse to do it, that is the best way of controlling your desire. That is the best way of controlling your desire. Sunkaro kotobo minati, sunkaro is a mechanism, it is a way of controlling your desire. And a very good example for that matter in the Gambia is the mobiles, the iPhone and the Android. Alal hakiloto, your Android or your iPhone can be a cause of invalidating your fasting. Because it's Android or Bebulo, iPhone or Bebulo, it's a mobile or Fentije, it come in Jubeje, Wallman, Nimma Sibo, Mimbala Kansen, Kol Minikati Internet. It's a 24-hour Sunkaro Konebole Jube. And the more you are watching pornography, the more stupid you become. And the more animalistic your behavior is. Therefore, an IQ, intelligent quotient. Niaja Talata in the Gambia, this could be responsible part. It didn't want the data, it jengete mo idama ebe juberola. They are looking for something bad. Very obscene. But we have no control because we are not the producers of technology. We are simply consumers of technology. You have no business. You either eat it or conquer ever. And this is what is happening. Technology. Every day, status yafaling. Every day, yeta TikTok. Every day, faniade file WhatsApp okono. We are ambassadors of Allah on this earth. We must reflect what is the best of the best. We must reflect the best standard, the best values, and the best meaning of life. Alsal hakilo to Allah mobile to sunkaro kono. TikTok, and do it if you want, but do something good in TikTok and take something good from TikTok. Bala kensa oke ye dom ye fongo natal ye fongo ki TikTok, and you will stay in TikTok to the end of time. Hani sanji million killing dindi wal mimbina ibina folala ko look at this ugly stupid woman. Oh boy, you don't do that. Don't put yourself into TikTok, but put your ideas in TikTok. Alala mira kendol ke TikTok kono. Al kanal fongo bala jato ke TikTok kono. You don't have to advertise your beauty in TikTok for your case at all. hani e keso to TikTok ita fa wala talo be TikTok so ma modo binale aye ke be on fa because TikTok is a technology used to le mo ke sajieti. Why should not do that? You don't do that. So in Ramadan, you have to be very careful with your mobiles. Alala mobile okay current downward. The internet is full of knowledge. It's full of positive things. Go and use those positive things to develop your knowledge, your level, your understanding, your deen, your cultural realities. The Gambia needs you. Hamange ko TikTok le sola tela. We need you. Chinese all mo TikTok. Wale China bill. Ite ma halisi se bungolo follow be TikTok. What are you going to do with TikTok? Ite ma si se bungolo follow. Si se el fa mo tete bulu follow. So ko be bungolo. Ite ma si se so be ta TikTok. So we must be very careful. Ramadan is coming. These are some of the importance of Ramadan. You love Allah. You are given the willpower. Your money is controlled properly. You have control over your desire. And you are able to change your life. When somebody enters the Ramadan and goes out of the Ramadan, the way he enters the Ramadan, let him ask himself, then your negative and positive current is masole soto ita da battery yo malala ko karamo wa ko si olo ko xamne am nga jiko bu bon bala Ramadan bi ñew nga duga Ramadan ak sa jiko bu bon bi nga gëna Ramadan sa jiko bu bon bi gëno wulo ko yow sa courant gi positive ak negative dañ mas yow do mëna tal ben bol so a Ramadan is a time, is a season for us to change, for us to be patriotic Gambians, for us to be devoted Muslims, for us to be good girls, for us to be righteous people, for us to be examples to others, and for us to be able to build the Gambia, and for us to be people who are always representative of true Islam. When you see us walking in the street, you point your finger demonstratingly to that person and say, look, here is a good man going there. Not because of your nafo, or because of your beard, or because of the way you wear. It's because of your attitude and your conduct. Jikolam. Everything will be fine. It is the basis. And Ramadan gives you that. In Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 183 to 86. Look what the Quran is closing these verses, the conclusion. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي أَنِّي. What did Allah says? فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِي. Allah says, فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ. So Allah is telling you that in that state of fasting, if your fasting is true and correct and proper, whatever you ask Allah to give you, Allah will give you. But answer Allah accordingly and sincerely, because fasting gives you sincerity and honesty. When you ask Allah anything, Allah will give you. Then answer Allah and do what Allah has asked you to do. Because even in this verse from 183 to 186, there are 3 or 4 portions that I want to conclude my lectures with. Allah says, Kutiba alaykumus siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum, and the verses are closed by what? La'allakum tattaqun. By doing Ramadan or fasting properly, you are preventing yourself from every evil. Mental evil, spiritual evil, and physical evil. And number 2, Allah says, وَلِتُكَمِّلُوا الْعِدَّةَ وَلِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. Because we must complete the number of days that are prescribed for fasting. And when we do that, we are grateful to Allah for guiding us. And when we do that, Allah says, you will be grateful and I will reward you for your gratefulness. Then Ramadan prevents you from evil. Ramadan helps you to be very much grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the most important thing, Ramadan will correctly and Ramadan will righteously guide you to whatever Allah wants you to be. And if that is done, we are called the true Muslims, as the verse opens, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Please try to be among those whom Allah has called Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. And at this note, or on this note, I would say, may Allah just give us good health, long life, prosperity, instability, for us to witness a good Ramadan coming, which is almost at the gate there. And when we enter the Ramadan, may Allah help us for us to transform ourselves. Anybody with a problem, which is material or spiritual or mental, may Allah help you to solve your problem. For the girls, may you be very much educated and become PhD holders, but not the PhDs who are stealing. I want the PhDs who are building. Not the stealers, but the builders. When you learn, when you go to school and learn, you become educated. You must try to be a builder and not a destroyer. A thief is a destroyer, and never be a thief. Karama bi yalon ko sunyaro bi je karama tem kadu alamalla fi sunyaro. Karama bin ko makumaro bi je monendiro bi je manke karama ti alamalla fi won. Walakin al karama ke pro ale banko deda al kana karama ke pro ale mo kunda tinya. Mbeli ya barole bulalal bulu alama be nyusi la sunkarola alama be dul sunkaro kono kayrola alama na funde kayrola alama hajobe min ala ya jara alama na harjidi fring alama alen be tanka alama ni skulu falantala nyato. But I must warn you, and I must warn and warn and warn, be very serious with your learning, be very serious with your schooling. Don't go into school just to get your grade 12 certificate. Don't do that. If you do that, you become a stealer tomorrow. But go into school to acquire knowledge, because knowledge is power, but knowledge leads you to truth, and the truth leads you to Allah, and Allah is everything. When you do that, you are successful. Assalamu alaikum.